Okay. I think we're recording now. Right. Okay. So thank you for coming by and being up for chatting today. My name is Amy Jones. I created something called Map Your Progress, which is a way for us to visualize our goals and kind of enjoy the process and breaking down whatever it is we're after and just doing it one step at a time and then celebrating each of those steps that we take towards the goals by coloring in a swirl on these maps that I've created for this purpose. They're made up of all different shapes and the idea is that they're like a piece of artwork that you are coloring in as you are making progress towards your goal. So what I'm excited about is to be able to share a bit with you about my wonderful dearest friend, Shadee Ardalan, who is here to kind of share what she's been up to and how she's been using the maps. And so God, it's probably like a few months ago now that you first started out. And I'd love for you just to kind of like go through what it was like for you when you started. And then kind of as you got going, what you were learning about would be awesome.
Yeah, I think I was like your second, third customer because you're like mom and sister beat me.
Yeah, they're good like that.
I was in the top 5, definitely.
Definitely. I'd say top 3. I think that's fair.
Thank you. So I'm a big fan of these maps because though in life I have been an achiever for sure. At 40 years old, I've sort of run out of some steam. Unlike in my teens, I just had so much pressure on me. I just had to keep on going. And then after college, I just had more pressure from employers to keep on going. And then it was just like, I'm tired. I'm so tired, but I still have drive in me and I still have ambition and I still have goals. But I needed something else to motivate me. And so when you invented this and I saw that you accomplished so much, like that you got yourself out of $26,000 of debt is pretty amazing. I'm very, very impressed and proud of you for doing that. I thought, okay, well, what about me? What could I do with these maps? And so I bought a poster. And I still have this poster and it's beautiful. But I also love the downloads. And that's what I want to put our attention on for today is the downloads. Because I use the downloads for everything. I'm a bit of a download junkie. And so
I love it you are.
Yes, I want to show them how great the downloads are and how I use them because, what's great about the maps is that you can be so creative with them. Like you are a pioneer. You call yourself a cartographer, you're the chief cartographer. I'm not sure if it's Magellan or, who exactly in history was a great cartographer, but you are it. And so you're the chief cartographer and I am just following in your footsteps. And so my first one was the 100 swirl heart. So it looked like this. Okay. Yes. And can you see that okay?
Yeah. So, and I just want to pause real quick. So for anybody that is not familiar with progress mapping and the idea, this is a drawing that is made up of 100 swirls. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that you take whatever your goal is and you break it into 100 small actions. And each time you take one of those small actions, you just color one of those swirls in. And so what I love and why I want to talk today about the idea of letting yourself win at life is that Shadee has a really great journey of starting from one place and making it, you really had to like earn your swirl.
Yeah.
In the beginning, the meaning that was attached to those swirls, which, everyone decides for themselves what that is, was kind of hard. And so I love like kind of what happened as you got going. And so I'll let you get back to your story.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So, I started and what I do is I put the start date and the end date of when I begin things so I can just see because I'm just a curious human being. And I come from a very perfectionistic family and a perfectionistic culture. And so I have a perfectionistic nature. And, there's pros and cons to that. It made me a high achiever, but it also made me really hard on myself and has led me to have some bouts of severe depression. And I had some of that in October of this year, and I needed to get out of it. And there's a lot of great tools in the world to use for that. And so I know these tools, but knowing them and using them are different. And there's just so much great information and knowledge, but applying it, when you take actually information, knowledge plus application, that's learning. Okay. And so I have all these great tools, but I wasn't actually applying them. And so because of that, the depression got ahead of me and put me into this really deep spiral. And so I used these swirls to get me out of the spiral. But because of my perfectionistic tendency, I have to earn things. And that's just how I was raised. I was raised that way since I was a little girl. It was reinforced in school, in everything from grade school to middle school to high school to college. I went to a very elite college. And then every single job I've had, and I've always had elite jobs, it's always about earning things. And that's just how I am. So because of that, and because I don't give myself an inch, I needed to make sure that I was actually earning these swirls. And so I created a key. And then with all of my markers, I put a little Post-it note that I would tape what that.
I love it so much. I love the Post-it notes.
Yeah, exactly. I would take a Post-it note, and I would because I couldn't always remember which color went with which swirl and which chore, which whatever. And so it was taking way too much time to match it perfectly because I have perfectionistic tendencies. So just to like make it more efficient, I figured the system out. So I could just grab the marker that was right. And so like one of these things is like computer chores and tech crap.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like doing it. I am not really great. I'm not tech savvy. Okay. But I would say if I actually did one, I got a swirl, and it was this color. Okay. Yeah. Every time I am not particularly athletic. I'm more nerdy and geeky. But I found that I love tennis. I only found my love of tennis 2 years ago. And so when I play tennis or go to tennis lesson, I get a swirl, and it's this color. Okay. Awesome. Because a lot of my tennis outfits are pink. Okay.
There's always meaning.
There's always meaning with the colors. There is. So I can have a little bit of a temper. People who know me and can find me still love me, know this about me. And so, if I respond rather than react, I get a swirl. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yes. Well done.
Okay. So this was my and then every time I'm a good sister, auntie, or daughter, I give myself a swirl. Anytime I made or received money, I gave myself a swirl. So that was my first map, and it took me a little over about 10 days to do. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, wow, this is sort of fun. And so I went ahead and I did another one. Okay. And I think this one is much prettier than that one. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is that my key became more loving is what I found out. As I became more loving towards myself, my key became more loving and it became more fun. So I invented new activities. Like what I noticed is that, see, this light blue is for all the chores I do. And I was like, I do a lot of chores. Do I want my life to be consistent of doing chores all the time? Not really. So what I noticed is that I wanted more play. So I created one called Being Playful. So the yellows are all the times I was playful.
Nice.
And anytime I decided I wanted to practice more gratitude. So I created a gratitude one. And I wanted to start journaling. So I created one for journaling. I felt like I was being a little bit cowardly. So I created one facing my fear. Okay.
Big one.
Now, the funny thing is I started this one around the same time that I started this one. So that's another thing people need to know is that you can have more than one map going at the same time, and you can do that.
You can, whatever works for you. Yes, the idea is to have it be something where each time you're coloring on a swirl, you're celebrating something that you did, some action that you took. And like Shadee's describing, you start to create a bit of a momentum. So if you are feeling good about that and that momentum, then you can use that in other areas and other maps. So tell us about the one that's, I guess, on our left.
This one?
There you go. Yeah.
Well, see, one of the things I realized is that I needed to make some money before the end of the year, that I was going to fall short on my finances. Mm-hmm. So one of the fears that I faced was starting my own business. Mm-hmm. So I started creating this swirl. And one of the things that I am in the world is I am a teacher, and I teach women to understand men.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I noticed, because I also coach women about men, is when I noticed in my coaching practices that women were getting really angry at men for being very masculine effectively. Mm-hmm. And this term called alpha male kept on showing up. And so I was like, I'm going to invent a course about alpha males.
That's awesome.
But I'm not going to assume I know anything. Mm-hmm. I'm going to come from a beginner's mind. Mm. And so I decided to go and interview a bunch of men. Mm-hmm. So every time I did an interview, I got a swirl.
Wow.
And
that's so many.
Yes. So I did 20 interviews that lasted anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour and a half in about 6 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of men.
It's a lot. And it's a lot of alpha males. And alpha males, by the way,
we love them.
Very busy men. They're very active men. Okay. Yeah. So to make time for them during, according to their time frame, okay, their time schedules, took something. And, you know, every time I posted a Facebook blurb about an interview, or I resolved something, or like I had to create, God bless me, my own website.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So these are all things that you were doing to launch your new business.
Yeah, exactly. So I did all of this. And on here, on this side was, because I needed to make money, was all the money I collected. Awesome. So every time I collected money, I got a swirl as well. And I have these metallic colors. Uh-huh. So the metallic markers are for really special things, like when I collect money.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Or like, I have another one for self-care.
Uh-huh.
Like when I treat myself really well, okay? Yeah. So the metallic markers are for something very special, okay? So another thing is that I realized from you that you can use these things for like everyday to-do lists. Like I never knew that. I never thought about that. So in doing this, after I finished this one, I was like, okay, should I start another one of these? But I think this was maybe the 40 swirl vortex.
I think it might be the 50.
Might be the 50. Okay.
Yeah. So what we're saying is that there's a whole bunch of different maps that you can get for different goals. And this particular design is called the vortex. And it comes in like 20 different numbers of swirls. So this version, I believe, is the 50 swirl. It comes in a 40, a 30, a 20, a 10, and so forth. So it doesn't come in a 10. I lied. I just made that up. But there are lots of other shapes and lots of other swirl counts. So it just depends on what goal you have and kind of how fast you're working that would help you determine which design to get. But what I think Shadee's done really well is she's embraced the downloads wholeheartedly. She's so happy and being so creative as to how to use these downloads to be able to have more of those, what I call tiny victories throughout the day, where each of those are represented by the swirls that she's talking about, and that you're creating essentially more and more opportunities for you to win and for you to celebrate the things that you are doing and the action that you are taking.
Exactly. Because I'm a very authentic person, sometimes too much so for some people's taste. I don't want to work. Okay. I don't want to be done. I have it that I've been working since I was a very small child. It started at a very small young age. It was called schoolwork. Okay. I'm 40 now. I'd like to be retired. Okay. But that's not actually in the cards for me right now. So I have to continue to work. And so you taught me about like, you can use these things for to-do lists. I was like, oh, okay, great. So now it's like, I don't have to be so precious with them. So like, this is messy. And for a person who has perfectionistic tendencies, look at that, right? Like,
I love it. Yeah.
Right? But like, it was one of those kind of days, but I needed to get stuff done. So I interviewed somebody, I collected some money, I, I texted somebody, I did a Facebook post, I emailed somebody, I entered in some data into a spreadsheet, so like now I have all these that are like very messy, and it's really okay as long as I'm getting my work done for my business, which I never wanted to be a business owner. It's just sort of like, this is me having my big girl panties on. It's like, okay. Yeah. And it really helps for like, so this is my like everyday kind of thing. And this is really helps me for doing things that I don't want to do. It's like, well, at least I'll get to color a swirl. Like, I love collecting research. I love doing all these interviews of these alpha males. Yeah. I don't like entering them into a spreadsheet. I don't. So every time I enter into a spreadsheet, I give myself a swirl. And it's so great because I've also lived a life struggling with an eating disorder, which I don't have anymore. But I can see back in the day, what I would have done is I would have given myself some sort of sweet treat. And I don't need to do that. It's just, it's funny enough that coloring in a little circle makes me very satisfied. And it's really nice because I don't like not fitting into my clothes, So my day is filled with like, just make it very simple. I have a folder with some paper clips and my download clipped to it. And when I take a break, because I need them frequently, I color in what have I accomplished, And so this is my current one around trying to lose some excess weight so I can be more spry on the tennis court. This is my to-do list around my work. And this is mine around like just general self-esteem and self-love.
Amazing. Yeah. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for being so open and authentic and vulnerable and sharing all of those things. It's not easy to share. But what I love is that you have found a way to have the map support you and have it work for you. And you are the one that's taking all of the action and doing the coloring. And I'm super impressed and was so inspired and just kind of watching this all unfold. And so I just wanted to be able to share it with everybody else because I know that there are going to be people that'll hear the story and be inspired to play with the downloads as you have. So thank you, my dear. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. My pleasure.
And now you get to color in another swirl because you did your first lab.
I did.
You did. All right, honey. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you.